Hello, IELTS writers. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing an essay today. Before we begin, two short requests. One for yourselves, and if you are learning and you are preparing for the IELTS test, you might want to consider tapping the subscribe button and the notification bell so that the next time we upload videos on assessments, maybe an essay assessment, maybe a letter assessment, or a report assessment, you won't miss those. And the second one is an act of generosity. By clicking the like button, you will tell the YouTube algorithm that this content is valuable and you understood something, you learned something. Doing this will help the algorithm to find other people who are also preparing for the IELTS test all around the world to enjoy this free content. So, you know what they say, sharing is caring. So this is a good act that you can do today. We of course appreciate it. And on those notes, let's begin. The rubric says, many people use their phones for sending text more than talking. So it means texting is more prevalent, or it's more common, let's say, than making a phone call. The first question says, what are the reasons for this? We need to come up with the reasons behind this move, like why people text more often than calling. And pay attention, guys, this is reasons, so it's plural. We need to at least come up with two reasons. And the second question says, are there more advantages than disadvantages? So here, I need to somehow show that there are or there are not more advantages than disadvantages. Well, that's tricky. Guys, this looks like an easy topic, but it's actually a very challenging one. In the IELTS community, you might have heard that this is called a two-part question. So there are two questions, and these two questions are on relatively separate aspects of the same topic. So the topic remains texting is more common than making a phone call. Now you need to devote, and there are just two questions, and you need to devote at least one paragraph for each of these questions. Right now, I find the second one very challenging. I have to show and convince the audience, in this case IELTS, that advantages are more than disadvantages, or vice versa. It doesn't matter which one is more, but I have to show one is higher than the other. And I cannot just simply say, yes, there are more advantages than disadvantages. That doesn't work. I need to show it, prove it, develop it, come up with reasons behind it, behind my claim. So let's see how it is done in the essay. Nowadays, sending text is more common in many individuals, not in many individuals, maybe among many individuals, than talking on the phone. The phone. It's like we have an invention called the phone. So there are multiple causes behind this. I don't need like. This colon acts as like, so I don't need this word. It is time saving. I need a hyphen here. And cost effective. I need another hyphen between effective and cost. That's a very good use of colon here. It will be discussed in the following paragraphs. I know. Why is this sentence here? It doesn't help, it doesn't harm either. So I believe that texting have more benefits than harms. But texting has more benefits than harm. First body paragraph. Life is running on at a very fast pace today. Okay? I don't need this comma. Everyone is busy in their lives. I don't know, guys, but I have a feeling I'm reading a telegram. It's like one sentence, then full stop, and another sentence and full stop. It is two like small bits of information in small sentences, and I kind of feel that I now live in late 1800s, and I received some notes on a telegram. It's just a little confusing. But gadgets have a but cannot start a sentence. Guys, we're not talking about spoken English. Yes, you might have watched a Hollywood movie that when people speak, they say, "Oh, but you're late." Yes, that in a spoken situation might work. It actually works. It's a common practice. But in writing, um, usually so, but, and, these words usually do not start a sentence. They come in the middle. It's not very formal to start your sentence with one of these words. So, however would be a nice fit here. However, gadgets have made people's, apostrophe s, lives, plural, easier by providing them with different forms of communication. Most of the humans, why the humans? Like we have some other humans and then there's a separate group of humans. Simply say most humans. The majority of humans, not the humans, the majority of humans, most humans, and this is our subject. We don't need any comma between the subject and the verb. So most humans prefer, I don't need the comma, prefer to contact their family, friends, another comma. This is a listing comma. Family, friends, colleagues, it's a list. So you write family, comma, friends, comma, or colleagues by texting them. As it is convenient, I don't need a comma after as it is convenient, and above all, it is time consuming, it is time saving. Oh, I should actually go back. So this punctuation mark is also wrong. Most humans prefer to contact their family, friends, or colleagues by texting them as it is convenient, and above all, time consuming. I don't need this it is as well. I don't need this comma. I don't need this full stop. Look, guys, this is a complex structure. I'm going to talk a little bit technical here. This is called a dependent clause. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb, but it is dependent, meaning if you just let it stand alone, it cannot stand alone. It has to be dependent upon something else. And there is no something else. I see one full stop at the beginning and one full stop at the end. So this sentence has to be completely independent, but it's not. And now I realize that there is punctuation mistake. And this punctuation mistake is now affecting communication. To elaborate, oh, that's a very good word. That's a very good connector, discourse marker. In any meeting or any class, one can easily contact others or reply by sending them messages rather than talking, like by sending them messages rather than talking on the phone, or making a phone call, or making phone calls. Those are the natural collocations. Talking on the phone call is technically okay, but doesn't sound very natural, which is time-consuming and can be disturbing for others. Time-consuming, again, hyphen, and it can be disturbing for others. I like these words, like time-consuming, that's good. Cost-effective, that's another good word. But in my head, I'm beginning to feel that these are just some words that the candidate has learned, and they are trying to use it in their paragraphs here and there, because this is the second time I feel this structure. And it is not executed properly. Like I definitely need a hyphen to consider this a complete value for your lexical resource score at the end of this assessment. However, I still give this the value it deserves, because we're talking about making phone calls, and these are the language bits that are specific to making a phone call or texting for that. Anyway, in this paragraph, I understood that, okay, maybe people are busy, and then they just, it's convenient for them, it's time saving to do texting instead of making a phone call, because if you make a phone call, then you have to go through some pleasantries, and then it takes more time. You just simply want to say the bit of information you have in mind, and you just type it and send it to your family, friends, or colleagues. So this is, I can pick at least two reasons here. Are they properly developed? To some extent, yes, it's quite fine. And I feel it is not that deep, but I'm still okay with it. Now we're going to talk about the second question, the one that talks about texting has higher advantages, or has higher disadvantages. Let's see. Furthermore, texts do not cost much. Why? I don't like this discourse marker here. Why furthermore? Are we still talking about the previous question? Furthermore, texts do not cost much. Okay, I need a full stop. People can send multiple messages to their senders, we generalize, in the same amount as they spend on one call. Okay, I'm fine with it. For example, in certain jobs, the comma should be shifted to the end of jobs here. You have to contact thousands of people. Therefore, we need semicolon before, comma after. You cannot call everyone and update them separately. Oh, that's a good example. So you cannot call everybody, you just write a piece of generic text and then send them all in one go. That's better. In that case, to send forwarding messages, it's redundant. To forward messages or forwarding messages, even that you don't need to, so forget this part. Forwarding messages, plural, is a wise option, which not only saves time, but saves money as well. Logical? However, a call is necessary in certain situations. I don't know about this, guys, but I still have this feeling that we are not answering the second question. Like here, are there more advantages than disadvantages? I still feel that we are on the first topic, and we are exercising the reasons behind it. Why do I think like that? Because I see furthermore here. And also, as I keep reading, I realize, yes, another reason why people use text. For instance, your newborn is a girl, you want to text everybody, like the family members and relatives, that it's a girl. You don't make a phone call and to every single family member and let them know that this magnificent miracle happened in your life. You just write a text, You say it's a girl, and then you send the message to pretty much everyone. Okay, but that is a reason for me. That's not an advantage. Uh, I don't know. Maybe, listen to me. Maybe this might sound like an advantage to the writer, but I need to see that part. I need the part that the writer tells me exactly that I am going to say one of the advantages. And one advantage over phone call is speed, for instance. Speed happens in certain places. For example, this and that. Another advantage is cost. And the cost is this and that. You see how similar it is? I need one sentence at the beginning, exactly here, with a proper discourse marker that says, moving on to the advantages, I would like to say that there are more advantages than disadvantages. For one thing, cost. If you have a newborn baby and it's a girl, if you text your relatives, let's say there are 30 people, it will cost you a lot less than making 30 individual phone calls, each for 2, 3, 5 minutes, whatever. Yes, that would be one advantage. And then you move on to something else, maybe speed, maybe convenience. That will look like a separate item. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. We have to show IELTS we are answering the second question. This is important. Otherwise, I still feel we are answering the first question, we're developing it, we're giving it reasons, everything, but it doesn't feel that we're answering the second one. Based on that, we might lose a lot of scores. Be very mindful of that. Let's move on. However, a call is necessary in certain situations, like in an emergency. It is better to contact directly by call. Yes, you don't want to text 911 typing emergency, help, there's fire here. Similarly, important discussions should be discussed ED on a phone call, which may create misunderstanding on chat. Can you give me an example? No. Can you give me more development? No. Why? Because we're running out of time at IELTS. We only have roughly 40 minutes for this task. And that is another important element, guys. Before we started it, we had to come up with a proper planning for this. Now we're here. The assessor thinks that the first question is still being addressed. In the middle of the second body paragraph, we start to come up with advantages and disadvantages. And we just name two advantages over here. And we think, when we hope that the assessor is going to think that the first one is also an advantage. And boy, oh boy, are we in this mess now. In conclusion, calls and texts both have advantages, but it's weight, whose weight? And why do we say weight? Like texts have 275 kilograms, while calls is 25 grams? Doesn't make sense. But which and why it? Which one it refers to? Calls or texts? And it actually technically doesn't refer to any of them because they are plural. So they, calls weigh more than texts as they are cheaper. It's a mess. It shouldn't be, it means its weight is, its weight is lenient towards text, meaning texts weigh more than calls. because they are cheaper and they save time. Guys, I'm not laughing at the essay. I'm laughing at my own confusion and my own struggling with this sentence to make sense. It's a huge stretch, and I'm using everything I know to connect whatever I have acquired in the body paragraph all the way to the conclusion. It's a very difficult task, and I'm really struggling right now. Though calls a call is significant during serious crises, the plural form, because we need to generalize, and during essential dialogues among professionals. Uh, uh, I'm dead. What happened? Why is this not an independent sentence? It's what happens after that? So I guess to correct it, we needed to say, um, however, calls calls are significant during serious crises and during essential dialogues among professionals. Yeah, 268 words. After a hard battle fought with the definitions and come up with on different types of understanding, let's see the band descriptor, whatever band descriptor offers. Yes, addresses all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others. Very true. It's a 6. I really don't need to go through the other parts. You already saw. The first question was developed a lot better than the second question. The second question was just touched on, barely, towards the second half of the second body paragraph in only 2, maximum 3 sentences. And that is not at all enough for a proper development. I had issues with at first. I had some issues with referencing, but then I realized they are more related to grammar and vocabulary. So that's why the error happened in the grammar part. That's why it's a 6. The organization is still logical. I understand the first one. The second one was about the first question, and somehow the second question, the order of information was there, but it wasn't sequential. And but we didn't have an overall progression in, we had only overall progression. We didn't have the progression inside the paragraphs. From the far, you could see, okay, the introduction, the body paragraph, first question, the second body paragraph, second question. Yes, but when you had the chance to actually go in, you were with me, guys, and you saw my struggles in the middle of sentences, inside paragraphs. And that also contributes to this paragraphing that's not always logical. I loved the range of vocabulary. It was indeed sufficient to the level I told you. Some of them were repetitive, telling me that, yeah, there were words used, but it doesn't give me this wide range of words. And the words did not impede communication. The sentence structures were to blame. That's the part that reduced communication. The grammar had a lot of punctuation mistakes and grammar errors. So that's why we have some. I mean, a significant amount was available there. All in all, guys, this could have become a very good essay, 6.5 or 7 even, only if the writer spent the time to analyze the question and properly planned everything beforehand. But there wasn't enough planning. The use of discourse markers were not always done properly, and for that we stayed at 6. And on that note, remember, essays like this, your letters or your reports, are going to be your representatives. So make sure they do their jobs absolutely well. And don't remember to plan ahead before you actually start writing. Have a lovely day.